Welcome to the next video lecture in my series in economics. And in this particular video lecture, I'm going to be taking a look at a topic related to urban economics. And this is information from the textbook that's in the appendix. In particular, we're going to take a look at the marginal principle. As you well know, or you might not know, but for this particular course, the first week we spend some time going over some microeconomic theory that is necessary for students to understand for this entire course. So we put a little bit of effort into reviewing this to make sure students are up to speed with the microeconomic theory that they need for this particular course. And in particular, what you should remember is what's in your textbook. If the marginal benefit of an activity exceeds the marginal cost, do more of it. If possible, pick the level which the marginal benefit equals the marginal cost. So we'll take a look at marginal benefit and marginal cost and look at them together to show what's an optimal level of production or engaging in a particular activity. So if we take a look at marginal benefit, in your textbook, I try to do this along with the textbook, so it's a supplement to what we have in the textbook. So we're taking a look at marginal benefit, in particular, the marginal benefit of, let's say, the number of movies in a particular series. Let's say a movie does particularly well, and then there are multiple sequels that occur after that. So we want to take a look at what's the revenue generated from a particular series of movies. So in this particular example, the one that's given in your book, the first movie in a series, let's say, generates $300 million in revenue. And then the producers decide that this movie did well enough that they want to produce a second movie. However, when they produce the second movie, the revenue falls to $210 million. And then they put out a third movie in the series, and the marginal benefit, as is listed here, is the revenue from the movie is $125 million. So you can see that if we draw a line through all those points, we get the marginal benefit curve. So in general, the marginal benefit curve is going to be downward sloping because in general in economics, we see that the more you engage in an activity, the lesser the benefits become from that particular activity. So make sure you're aware of that the marginal benefit curve is going to be downward sloping because technically what we talk about is it's eventually decreasing marginal benefit. All right, so we're just assuming that it kicks in right away, that there's decreasing marginal benefit that occurs for a particular movie or for any activity in general. So that's one portion of what we're talking about, the benefit. Well, now we have to take a look at marginal cost. So we're looking at the number of movies and what the costs associated with those movies are. So you could see that the first movie was produced at a cost of $125 million. And because the movie did so well, they decided to produce a second movie, but the cost will generally be higher for that particular activity. Oftentimes what will happen is if you do a one-time movie and it becomes very popular, for example, you'll have a particular actor or actress that's associated with the lead role. And if they want to have continuity, they want to keep that particular actor or actress. And that individual, in all likelihood, because the movie did so well, is going to ask for more money. So that's an example. As the number of movies in the series increases, you will see that the costs generally go up for that. So the second movie has a cost associated with $160,000, and the producers decide that they want to produce a third movie, and the cost of production of that movie is equal to $210. So if we connect those points, we see we have our marginal cost curve, which is going to be upward sloping. All right. So make sure that you realize that the marginal benefit curve is downward sloping and that the marginal cost curve is going to be upward sloping. So if we use these two together, we can determine what is going to be the optimal number of movies to produce in that series. So if we have the first movie, which cost $125 million to produce, then we have the second movie, the first movie, which generated $300 million in revenue, we can see that the marginal benefit exceeds the marginal cost by $175 million. So this movie is profitable at $175 million. So now, because of this, the movie producers decide, you know what, let's produce another movie. And that movie is going to be of a higher cost of $160 million. And it generates less revenue than the original movie at $210. So again, we see that the marginal benefit is greater than the marginal cost. All right, that difference is equal to $50 million. Now let's just see what happens if the production company decides they want to do a third movie. So the marginal benefit of that third movie is going to be $125 million. The marginal cost of producing that movie is going to be $210 million. So the marginal cost exceeds the marginal benefit. So as we stated previously, you want to keep producing or engaging in an activity as long as the marginal benefit exceeds the marginal cost. So in this particular example here, we see that the optimal amount of movies being produced in this series should be equal to 2. Reason being is if they produced a third movie, they are actually going to lose $85 million in producing the third movie because the costs of that movie are going to be greater than the benefits of that movie. So you would never want to produce that third movie because the marginal cost is greater than the marginal benefit. And that just leads us to the marginal principle. Make sure you remember this. This is very important. The marginal benefit in an activity exceeds the marginal cost. Do more of it. If possible, pick the level at which the marginal benefit equals the marginal cost. So where marginal benefit and marginal cost are equal to one another, if that is all possible. In our previous example, that wasn't possible. All right, it was at 2, where we still had marginal benefit exceeding marginal cost, but then when we moved to the third movie, the marginal cost exceeded the marginal benefit. So that is the marginal principle. Make sure you're comfortable with that because not only with this example here, but when we talk about utility maximization and some other concepts in economics, this particular concept is going to be very important. So make sure you're comfortable with this, that you review that material in the textbook so that you're comfortable with both marginal benefit and marginal cost and also the marginal principle.